about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? No,
I don't know. I don't know.
spending time all alone, sending my songs through the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the brujas let this last.
That was a great Sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. Easy Blues, you are better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, we all need to really look upon things, because there is something about style that is so super important. It is that extra step in self-expression that lets our souls be free and tells the world, this is who we are and this is what we stand for. And as we'll say, people of a masculine aspect of it, sometimes that style can get overlooked, because you just pick up the first t-shirt you find, you smell it, it's somewhat clean, and you go about your day. But there are people out here to tell us that that is not the right way to go. And I respect it, because before a stylist, I was a hot mess, and I'm not much better. So I want you all to understand how important it is. Because if you can look the part, you can play the part. If you can play the part, you can be the part, and you can move forward. A good stylist can boost your self-image to the point where you can stand shoulder to shoulder with the gods. And today we have someone that can do that for you. I want you to put your hands together, not if you're driving. Please keep your hands at 10 and 2. We don't need any accidents. But mentally, put your hands together for the amazing, the incredible Lillian Pearson. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? That was a fantastic introduction. Wow.
Thank you.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
That's how we feel. That's how we feel.
You should get paid.
Yes, that was fantastic. Wow.
Maybe in 2023 I'll take the act on Cameo. Maybe. People pay me to gas them up. It'll be great. But honestly, this isn't about me. This is 100% about you. For the listener that has no idea who you are or what you do, can you first tell them your brand and what it is?
Yes. So first, you can call me Elle. Most people do. Okay. My brand is L.K Styling and Design Company. So as you mentioned in the intro, I am a personal stylist. So I assist you in your wardrobe choices, bringing out the confidence, the best version of you through clothing and through creativity. I also am a designer as well. So nice. I have the ability to create some pieces for you. I started out just doing basic accessories like bow ties, ties, and pocket squares, and I've since expanded there. So we actually have the ability to really bring out your personal touch and choice of like fabrics and patterns and things of that sort. And finally, I am a tailor. So I have the ability to take the garments that you already have or your new garments and make sure that they fit best for your body type as well.
What made you want to do this?
So I actually kind of walked into it.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily something that I would say as a kid, I wanted to set out to be a stylist or be in the fashion world. But I did recognize that as a kid, there was a way that I wanted to express myself that I wasn't necessarily able to. Growing up down south, it's very conservative. Right. And being also raised by my grandmother, who was ultra conservative, right. It was very, very strict in terms of what I'm allowed to wear, very much gender oriented. So although as a kid, I was more of a tomboy and I wanted to kind of wear that type of clothing, I wasn't necessarily allowed to. So it wasn't really until, college, when I was out on my own, that I was starting to be able to kind of find out what is my personal style, what looked best for me, and what I was really interested in. But yeah, getting into menswear, out of college, I needed a job.
Understandable.
And
Understandable.
at the time, it was very difficult for me to find something within my field within social work. So thankfully, one random day, I walked into a retail store, apparently made a great impression, not intentionally, just
Right.
being a customer. And it ended up opening the door to a brand new world for me. And that store ended up being Men's Warehouse in Meriden. The store manager sparked a random conversation with me, offered me a position just simply based off of how I presented myself, how I carried myself, and my conversation. And here we are, 12 years later. And now from what I learned at Men's Warehouse, I have created my own business.
It's funny how these things happen, right?
Yeah, it was definitely ordained steps for sure.
Now, just being a woman in the industry, how hard is it designing men's clothing? Or actually, how hard is it just pitching it just to different people?
It varies. It's on kind of a pendulum swing. There are some clients who love it because they say, hey, it's you guys that are looking at us. You tell me what is attractive to you, what looks great, what attracts your eye. So there are some who are just completely open to my level of expertise and my experience. And then you have others that, because I am of a different gender, it's very difficult for them to take my word for it. So a lot of times I tend to have to kind of dress the part, just to kind of show them that I am very serious. I know exactly what I'm doing. And oftentimes I'm able to win them over. But it can be a little difficult at times, but most often it tends to help me in this industry because, again, the opposite sex is looking to see what is going to be attractive for them. So.
I like the whole background you got there, Elle. It looks like you have a lot of stories to tell.
Yes.
Now, this is your studio right here that we're looking at?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm located at 1399B State Street in New Haven.
Nice.
And this is now my 5th month in this particular studio location. I'm so grateful for it. It was, thank you. It was something that was on my vision board, and it ended up, coming to pass. So I'm very, very grateful to be able to have a space where now I can come to and I can do my work. My clients can come into a location here versus me entering into their home. So it just makes everything very central and localized. So it's great.
Now, was that mainly the reason you picked New Haven? Was because it was because New Haven's a great city, a lot of culture, a lot of ways to connect and network with people. Was those the main reasons you chose the Elm City?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I actually moved to New Haven out of college. So I graduated in 2011, and New Haven was the city that I ended up choosing because of those reasons. Having a lot of opportunities, the ability to network, and because of the little bit of taste that I had of New Haven, I wanted to make sure that when I was able to get back on my feet, and once I started this business, I wanted to come back to this particular hub. The creative hub here is so amazing. The level of support here is amazing. The opportunities that you have, the information, there's like a wealth of it all around you. So being in an environment where you are fully supported, you're fully seen, it's absolutely amazing. So I love being in New Haven, being surrounded by other creatives, because they also push you as well into different areas and aspects that you necessarily may not have pushed yourself into.
Were you part of any of the fashion shows that have been happening throughout the past couple of years?
So actually, I participated in one of my first fashion shows back in August. So myself and 2 other designers and entrepreneurs within the New Haven community partnered with Concorp, and we created an event called Black Excellence New Haven.
Nice.
And the premise of this entire event was to bring together all of the different types of businesses within the area, Black-owned businesses specifically within the area, and to celebrate them. So we put together a day where we invited up to about 20 vendors to come out to sell their products or promote their businesses or programs that they had. We also put together a fashion show where we showcased 5 designers, myself included, Black stylists, models, and things of that sort. And so it was just a day to show the community that all of your resources really are here. And sometimes you really just don't know that they are here. So it's great that you have a podcast like this, like Behind the Brand, where you're able to really expose a lot of the small businesses that are here. And, you know, a lot of us don't know about each other, and we can help each other. We can send customers and clients to one another. And since we, you know, have put together that event, the partnership amongst this particular creative community has just grown stronger. And we just started having our meetings for 2023. So be on the lookout for that.
That's what I'm talking about. Easy, how you feel about that?
Oh, no, I think it's a fantastic thing, and also thank you for the compliments. But we're just I'm just a penguin, and he is just the most incredible human being in the history of forever. And it is the whole reason we put this show together was because there are so many stories that aren't told, and we appreciate every single human being that is sitting in your chair right now that is allowing us to help tell your guys' story, because that is the most important thing, at least to us, and we hope to the rest of the world. I love that your message is also about unity, about coming together, because that's something that P and I talk about all the time, you know, as they've quoted by the amazing philosopher that wrote the incredible movie Three Ninjas. You know, a finger is massively fragile and easily to be broken, but if you can take those 5 fingers and put them together as a fist, it's one of the strongest things out there. So if we can all come together, we can be that fist to push through that next level of success. Now, as you are creating, as I go off on a slight tangent, but as you are creating, you know, the in particular style, how much time is it that you're spending directly with the client to get their vibe, or do you come into it with an idea already?
I spend a good amount of time with the client. I really like to get to know who they are, their personality, what type of things they are involved in. You know, where do you work? What do you do on the weekends? What do you do for fun? When you go out, you know, on the weekend, what are the type of places that you visit? All of those different things are going to kind of tell me your lifestyle. And I also want to know what is the direction that you want to go. There are some clients that reach out to me, maybe they just had a life change, they've had a career change, and they may not know necessarily how to kind of redirect their style to represent this new person that they are, whether it's a weight loss journey that they went on, or they're in a new relationship, or they left a toxic relationship and they want to, you know, get back out on the scene, but they don't necessarily know who they are on the inside or how they want to represent themselves to the world. So it's very important for me to just really sit down and just have a conversation with the client, not necessarily like an interview, but to really just sit down and just chat with them. And that really allows them to, number one, open up to me, and it allows them to see that I'm looking at them as a person. And ultimately, everything that you have and that you need is already in you. We just have to figure out how to get it out and how we can express that. And some people, the only way for them to do that is through clothing. So I take quite a bit of time to sit down, just to chat with them, just to find out what is their lifestyle like, or what are some things that they want to try. And now we can kind of maybe direct your clothing towards, you know, that particular area of your life. So it's very important for me to get to know them on a personal level.
That is absolutely amazing. And I hope the listener at home really absorbs that the one sentence you stated in there, you know, everything you need is already inside of you. We just need to figure out how to get it out there. And I love that you do it through the fashion journey, mainly because I stink at it. I everything you shouldn't do, I do, because why not? But at the end of the day, it's also so super important. And, you know, as we are moving forward, as we are evolving as a species, you know, we're starting to see the in fashion in particular, the lines of gender being as blurred as possible. Is that something that you were evolving with, or is that something that is giving you a slight pushback because of how you were raised?
No, I mean, that's the very reason that I kind of dove into this. When I started kind of working in the menswear world with retail, there would be a couple of days where I would walk into the store and I would, kind of dress up in full suiting attire. And it would be the one thing that would turn people's heads because it would be something that is so different from the norm. And that kind of ended up kind of becoming my personal style, is taking something that's so masculine and adding a little bit of a feminine touch to it. And also too, like you mentioned, within recent years with the lines being blurred in terms of the way that you kind of express your gender, it even has changed the way that I even approach clients, or even how I describe my type of business. So rather than just saying that I'm a men's stylist, I'm a menswear inspired stylist. So that way, you have, people of the other gender, or those who are gender fluid, they have the ability to kind of go in between both of the styles and be totally and completely comfortable with it. So it's completely opened up my ability to serve the community, to serve, people who identify as a gender fluid, and just to also show that clothing is just again a way to just simply express yourself. And as long as you feel comfortable and confident in how you're expressing yourself, then who cares? You can break the norms. But I'm so grateful that there is more of an acceptance to be able to really be true to yourself. I think that is one of the things that have prevented a lot of people from really just being true to their style, because they're looking out there and they're saying, I don't look like that, or I don't fit like this, or I'm not that size. And now, because of inclusivity, which I'm so grateful for, whether it's gender or whether it's with your size or your race, everyone has the ability to truly express themselves. And because of that, people are now more inclined to kind of try new things, to be a little bit more creative. And that is where it's fun for my world.
No, and it's also, I love the fact that how in the clothing world, it has truly come full circle, because one of the reasons why there was a division in clothing for gender was to make more money. If they, painted this blue and this pink, they could sell it differently, and they learned how to market it differently. And now we're at a point where, hey, wear what you want, be who you want. And that's where the industry has grown to. It has taken over 100+ years to get there, but it is so beautiful that we are finally here.
Yes, I 100% agree, for sure.
Me too, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building on Behind the Brand. L, you taught yourself how to sew through YouTube. How hard was that?
Very difficult. Very difficult, truthfully. But possible. What I love, especially with technology too, is that you literally have the whole world in your hands. You can learn literally anything that you want. So I'm so grateful for the people who took the time to put those videos together to teach me, how to sew. But yeah, it was a lot of trial and error for sure, because there are a lot of, when it comes to sewing and design, there are kind of a lot of small, minute details that you may not necessarily know as a newbie, and that an expert may forget to kind of share with you. So as you're kind of following through with the videos, it's like, oh, I didn't know that you did that, or I'm not entirely sure what that meant. But learning that particular way through trial and error, through having to kind of look up vocabulary words and find out, well, what does a seam allowance mean? And what does a top stitch mean? And all of those different things. I think it has created more of a depth for me as a designer, and also more of an appreciation when I'm looking at the clothing and the things that I'm pulling for my customers. If I'm styling for them rather than designing, now I have more of an appreciation because I understand what it takes to now put something like this together. But it's not for the faint of heart for sure, but it's possible. It's definitely possible.
It takes a lot of patience to do what you do, I bet.
Yes, 100%. A lot of patience, and you can't give up, and you have to accept that you will make mistakes. But the more mistakes you make, the closer you are to perfecting your craft. So
you were representing a company for WTNH Channel 8. How was that experience? I think the show was called what? CT Style.
yes, it was called CT Style,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, that experience is really what ignited me to kind of want to do this as a lifestyle and not just as a 9 to 5.
Right.
When you're behind the scenes and on set and you're looking at how everything is coming together, you're focusing on the look of the person and also making sure that it looks great on camera, and having all of these different things that you have to kind of think about, making sure that their personal style is reflective, it's attractive to the audience. Having that particular experience was really, really cool. Also, being on set and being interviewed was a really great experience as well too. But it really just opened up a brand new world outside of the 4 walls that I was in, working in a retail store and just helping the customer walking in. Now I'm exposed to another completely different world of fashion. And man, it ignited a fire in me for sure.
Now I know. Oh, I see the finger.
Yes.
I'm gonna hold my thought,
just because,
go ahead,
just because,
be on a
no,
roll.
it's so true, because people don't really understand, like on this show, the hours upon hours that Prestige and I sit and talk about what beanie and headphones we're gonna wear to make sure that it's unified moving forward. I mean, just hours upon hours on the phone. Are you sure we're going blue this month? Yeah, we're on blue. It'll be fine. You're wearing your glasses. I always have to wear my glasses. Okay, cool. Perfect. So it matches up great. So thank you for pointing that out. We appreciate it.
You guys made great choices today. You made fantastic choices today.
Thank you. Thank you. Not so good tomorrow, but today we're on point.
Oh, God, I lost my train of thought right now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I couldn't pass up on that moment.
All right. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. But I know you're focused on men's clothing. Any way to go outside the box you're thinking, probably in the foreseeable future? Because I don't know your plans of yet. That's on your side of the fence. You ever thinking of going with children, going more with women's clothing, experimenting, just little designs? Please tell me just what's inside your head.
I'm definitely interested in expanding beyond what I currently know. And this year for me, for 2023, is really all about trying new things and getting out of my comfort zone. This experience right now is very far out of my comfort zone.
Oh, wow.
So I'm off to a great start, for accomplishing that. But yes, I actually have a client that I just met with yesterday who would like for me to recreate a photo. So it was him as a baby with his dad. So he wants to recreate this photo now with his son. So I'm, now tasked to be able to kind of put together or design a little outfit for his son that is a replica of what he was wearing as a little baby when he took that picture years ago with his dad. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like accessories and ties and bow ties and things, I've definitely have gone and branched out with children, especially with wedding parties when you have little ring bearers and things of that sort. But yes, I'm expanding out into kids and for women for sure as well. Again, that's why I'm going with the route or the terminology like menswear inspired, because I can easily take, a really cool dress shirt, throw a really cool belt with it, throw some heels on and add a nice little scarf to it. And now as a female, you have a menswear inspired garment, but you completely transformed it into something that fits your personal style a little bit better. So it's very simple for me to kind of take these menswear type of pieces and add a little bit of femininity to it. And that's the world that I really want to branch into. And I'm putting together a really cool campaign that'll be coming out in March that will actually kind of show that juxtaposition between the two.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking to expand the brand for sure.
Is that a little bit harder, just women's clothing? Because like women are very picky for what they wear. They're really careful what they put on their body, how they want to present themselves in public? Is that harder?
And from my experience,
Yeah.
yes. And
Okay.
also too, because you're dealing with a lot of different body types and a lot
Yeah.
of different structures. So when it comes to, the gentleman's body, like when it comes to kind of taking basic measurements, you can, take two measurements and kind of guess, where this person is going to be in terms of their size. But when it comes to the female anatomy, you have to take into account so many different curves and things of that sort. And when it comes to body image as well, it's rooted a little bit more deeply, I would say, on the feminine side than on the masculine side. Not to say that body image is not an issue, for men.
Absolutely.
But it's a little bit more prominent when it comes to working with females, and also when you have social media, and you have Photoshop, and you have all of these different things like showing you how you quote unquote should look. It makes it a little bit harder for your everyday woman to really feel comfortable in their skin. And that again is the job, and the hard part of a stylist, is because we have to kind of break through all of those barriers and those societal norms and those things that you've told yourself over the years. And you have to be able to kind of get your client to see themselves through a completely different lens. So a part of it is just quieting the noise of what social media, what society tells you, and being comfortable and kind of trying new things. So yes, it is a bit more difficult on that side because of those different features, for sure. A little bit more challenging, but not impossible.
Throwing the ball to you, Easy Blues. Fingers up.
Well, no, I really wanted, because you mentioned it, you got out of school and got a job in retail, and you were, got a degree in social work. And from hearing you talk about, the societal standards and social media and stuff, I see how well that plays into it. Do you really look at that as the asset it is, or was that just something I stumbled on because I was paying attention?
I just honestly within the last year realized how it all connected, truthfully. When I left school, I wanted to be a social worker. Like that was my goal. But coming out of school, it was very difficult for me to get a job. When I went into college, all you needed was your bachelor's degree so that you can get the experience. By the time I graduated, you need your bachelor's plus X amount of years of experience. Then you've met our qualifications. So that's why it was so difficult for me to kind of find something within my field. And thank goodness, even though through life's hardships, it ended up leading me to Men's Warehouse, because I wasn't able to find a job for a long time out of college, which ended up getting me evicted from the place that I was in New Haven. So for days I was living in my car and sleeping on friends' couches, and thankfully I had people in my life who saw what was going on and were in a position to be able to take me in. That's how I ended up in Meriden. And it's because I ended up in Meriden that I randomly went into the mall, walked into a Men's Warehouse, just walking through stores, struck up a conversation with the store manager, and that's how all of these doors ended up opening. But I now look at everything that I learned in college and just my natural care for people. I always want to be of service to people. I'm just now realizing how I'm taking what I've learned in school and I'm just applying it in a different way through fashion. So it's just a different path than what I expected to be able to do, but I'm still doing something that I love. I'm still impacting people in a positive way. I'm still able to give back to the community and just really spread positivity, to as many people as possible, whether it's through words, through, just you changing how you feel and view yourself, and then through style.
That's absolutely incredible. And first and foremost, I just want to thank you for being as open and honest with your experience, and for feeling comfortable enough to share that with us. That is huge. We absolutely love that, and we respect every part of that. And it's another way for the listener at home to understand that no matter how dark it gets around you, there is dawn. You just have to make it to the morning. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for struggling through it to be here, to have your own shop. I mean, high five. Like, I hope you're giving yourself
Thank you.
flowers for understanding where you came from to where you are. That is a beautiful journey. And I'm so glad you are here with us today. As you are continuing to grow and continue on this journey, what's like the biggest thing, sans the stuff we talked about that's coming up in March? What's the biggest moment on your calendar so far for 2023?
So the biggest thing for me is the launching of my new brand. So, and being an entrepreneur, being a creative, and kind of being in the mud with it, you learn oftentimes that sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes you may have to change direction based off of the feedback, or you may have to expand your brand beyond what you may have thought. I love the name L.K Styling and Design Company. The foundation of that name is from my grandmothers. My first and middle name, Lillian Kathleen, I was named after my two grandmothers. So I took the L and the K and I put that into my brand. I was raised down south with my grandmother, Kathleen. When she passed away, when I was in high school, I moved up here with my Aunt Dot. So the L from Lillian, my mother's mother, the Dot from my Aunt Dot, who took me in high school, and then the K from Kathleen, from my grandmother who raised me down south. So all three of those ladies are responsible for who I am today. So it's very meaningful for me to have that be a part of my brand. However, being the type of industry that I'm in and the type of clientele that I would like to attract, the name and the clientele doesn't always match up. So, and being that I want to continue to represent, my family, I'm the youngest of four, and unfortunately, one of my siblings passed away. And I often wonder what life would be like had he not, if all four of us were together. And I want to be able to kind of keep his memory alive. So in July, I'm actually going to rebrand, and all of my designs are now going to be named Andrew James Limited, which is my brother's name.
Okay.
And the reason that I have limited specifically there is for two reasons. Number one, when it comes to you as my client or just as a person, you are a limited edition. There's literally only one of you, and you are designed for a reason. You're here for a reason. So take advantage of that. And also, you have a limited amount of time on the earth. So be yourself. Find out who that is and be that unapologetically. So I am going to be launching that in July. It's going to be launched on his 37th birthday because I want the birth of this new line and this new brand to line up with his birth as well, and to just keep his memory alive, especially within my family as well too.
Wow.
I'm really excited about that. So yeah, so
Definitely.
all of my neckwear, my dress shirts, my pants, things of that sort will all be now Andrew James Limited. If you're looking for styling or tailoring services, L.K, the styling company will still be here. So we're just kind of splitting up and just focusing on the two different sectors of the business and aligning it more with our clientele. So I'm really excited to show that.
I know you established yourself in Connecticut, just with all this hard work that you put in, but you ever just thinking about just one day, just going down south and just exploring your ideas, talking to other creators, talking to other entrepreneurs like yourself, and trying to build some kind of, resume and just like expand your brand down there, like where you grew up back then?
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in going back down south. I am interested in expanding my brand and actually going back to my roots. Funny you should mention that. I actually went back home for the first time in about like 18 years
Oh, wow.
last year. And yeah, and it was actually during that trip that I reunited with my father as well too, which is
Oh,
a whole other a whole other thing. And that's, you know, again, why you know, like bringing and intertwining family into my brand is so meaningful for me, because my family is not your typical you know, nuclear family.
I get it.
But I've always wanted to really try to stay connected somehow to everyone. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. There's a different type of culture
It
that's
is.
down south as well too, a different type of style. So
Mhm.
I'm interested for sure in expanding out there, but also getting myself educated on the different types of styles and fabrics and things that they utilize down south. It's a little bit different from us up here. So, but yeah, absolutely.
It
I
is
would love
180.
to expand
You're
for
so
sure.
right.
100.
It really is. It really is. But Easy, I did see your finger up a little while ago. I just had to express that
Oh
concern.
yeah, no, word. All
Yeah.
I was going to say is from what I'm hearing about
Mhm.
the launch and the rebrand is we need to have you back on in August. That's all I was going to say. That's all.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Word. See, look at
I would
that.
absolutely love
See?
that.
Fantastic. Very cool.
Have you ever done weddings?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are actually some of my first customers, because
All right.
oftentimes you know, people would be looking for, you know, especially when it comes to their neckwear, they're looking for a specific color to coordinate with the
Mhm.
bridesmaids.
Mhm.
And then also too, you'll have the you know, one of the partners who wants to stand out from, you know, the rest of the people in the wedding party, and they may not necessarily know exactly how to do that. So that's exactly where I come into play. I also offer a service where the day of your wedding, I will come and I will set everything up for you. I'll make sure that everyone is dressed the way that they are supposed to be dressed. As you're taking your photos, I'm making sure that the watch is being shown, cufflinks are the way that they should be, you know, even down to the ladies and things of that sort. So I personally love working with weddings. It's very fun working with the couple, just to find out what their collective style is and
Mhm.
how we can kind of unify, you know, the two worlds together to make it so
Mhm.
that their big day is very memorable. But it's a lot of fun. A
Oh,
lot of fun.
nice. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
In working with weddings and stuff, like in your initial contract, do you state like I will totally help you the day of, as long as bachelorette and bachelor parties are not the night before? Because I mean, I've been in a couple of weddings that morning is tough. That morning
Yes.
is tough.
You know, that's a good idea to have that clause in there.
Just being real, looking out for you, looking out for you.
But you know, I thinking about that, I do come prepared. So for example, if there's like a groomsman suite or things of that sort, I'll make sure if it's not already set up with like waters and things of that sort, I think of all of those things like when
Right.
I'm hired by that particular couple. But yes, it can definitely make for things to be very, very rowdy for sure. But hey, if you've helped out a prom kid, then you can help out, you know, a wedding party too. So
Just saying, I've seen some things. That's all I'm gonna
Yes.
say.
And all I'm gonna say is we're on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made. EZ BlueZ is in the building. We got Lillian, Pearson, Kathleen with us on Behind the Brand and learning a lot about her. And she has a lot of great stories to tell us right here. And we got plenty of time left on the show. Lillian, are
Yes.
men too comfortable when it comes to what they wear? How do you bring them outside that box? Because like we're very stubborn sometimes.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah, we are.
Oh,
That's a fact. That is.
yeah, you know, a lot of times it really just, for one, it takes, especially with my clients, building a rapport of trust. So once you have gotten to a place where you trust my expertise, then a lot of times it becomes a little bit easier for me to kind of sneak little different things in.
Right.
As a stylist, what I don't want to do is completely scare you away from, you know, the ability to kind of step out of your comfort zone a little bit. So what I will do is I'll meet you where you are, right? But I will kind of find out, well, what is that one thing that you wanted to try that you never thought you would? And rather than going all the way to left field to that one thing, I'm going to find something that's just going to put you in that direction a little bit closer. So rather than just kind of forcing something brand new to you, I'm going to meet you where you are, and then I'm going to try to show you and provide you with logical reasons as to why. Now, hey, I understand that you like this particular type of jean. You love wearing jeans wherever you go. Okay, that's great. But let's get a pair of jeans that fit very well with you. Let's get a nice pair of jeans that you can actually wear when you go out to a bar. They're going to look very nice versus the type of jean that you wear during the day that's going to be kind of ripped a little bit. So it's just really, if I take the time to just educate you and provide you with reasons as to why it may be okay to go in this direction, then you'll be more willing to try it. And once you step into that direction and you look at yourself and you're like, okay, that's not as bad as I thought. Now I have opened up a brand new door, and now I can start introducing a few more things into the mix. But it's about kind of introducing the new things just a little bit at a time, because if I throw something left field at you guys, y'all get scared.
Well, it's interesting because I'm actually going to ask the other side of that question. Have you had to deal with the type of client that already is so far left field that you kind of have to rein them back a little bit? And is that a totally different process? Because, like, for example, if Prestige and I were to come into your shop, Prestige is the one that you're going to nudge through, and me, I'm going to be swinging from the rafters going, I want everything in turquoise. You know what I mean? So how do you deal with, you know, two different individuals walking through on the complete different side of the spectrum?
Yeah, so for the customer that may be like completely left field, okay, let's take one of those aspects and let's, you know, focus on that. So let's say, you know, I have a client who loves wearing printed shirts, but also loves to like throw a tie and all of these other things with it. Okay, you know what? Why don't we lose the tie? Why don't we, you know, pair this printed shirt with more of like a solid jacket? So now your shirt that you love is more of a focus. And, you know, we can throw in like a really fun shoe style that complements your shirt. So we can take some of those pieces that they love in terms of, you know, kind of, I won't say like outlandish, but more of like the left field style or like kind of the out of the box styles. We can take different elements of those pieces and accentuate those for you, but maybe not take all of those pieces and put them all together at one time.
Awesome. There you go. I'm convinced. Still wants it in turquoise.
See? But even for example, if you love turquoise, like if you look at like for example, like just as an example, Steve Harvey, his stylist has created his type of style where it's all what's called monochromatic, or all, you know, one color, just different shades of that one color. So let's just say, hey, maybe turquoise is your favorite color. Okay, cool. Let's figure out how we can take your favorite color and your personality and create an entire look that you're going to be comfortable and you're going to be excited about, and that really showcases you. Yeah, there are ways around it for sure.
and just to clear up for the listener at home, I really don't care about any colors. I just like saying turquoise. I just wanted to say turquoise as many times as I could on the air. That was my challenge for today. I've said my secret word, and now the Playhouse is back to fun.
Did you have anybody come to you and just ask to make someone over, change their life around?
Actually, yeah. And you want to know something? That is so much fun to do. But it really all depends on how receptive that particular person is. But yeah, it's
understandable.
It's a lot of fun to do. My favorite part of the entire process, whether it's I'm putting together a look for you or you're picking out fabrics and I'm designing a product for you, is once you put everything on, that moment of transformation, when you look at yourself and you're like, this is dope. You know, like this is how I want to feel all the time. So that for me is very important when it comes to kind of working with my customers and with my clientele. for sure.
It's nice. It's nice. Now, I should have asked this earlier on within this interview, but who were some of your influences when you were really getting into the fashion game? We really wanted to learn, when you really wanted to better yourself. Who were some of those inspirers? And do you even have any new influencers or new people that mentor you to become a better person than who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was reflecting back over the weekend and preparing for our conversation today, I was thinking about as a kid,
Right.
the type of styles that I really looked up to and that I loved. And I recognized kind of a theme. Like I loved Aaliyah, I loved Lisa Left Eye, Lopez. I loved Missy because she was so out of the box, and she didn't necessarily confine to like gender norms. I loved how, you know, Aaliyah and Left Eye, they were in a way like tomboys, but they had a sense of femininity to them. Same thing with like Sporty Spice from the Spice Girls. So
Right.
there was, you know, some consistency in terms of like the type of look that I was attracted to. But
Right.
of course, as a kid, I couldn't mimic, you know, being down south. When I got the freedom to kind of be able to express my own
Right.
personal style, that ended up being more of the style that I started kind of gravitating towards. So as a kid, those were definitely some people that I looked up to, that my style was influenced by. Now that I'm in this particular world, there are some stylists that, oh my gosh, I admire so much. One being June Ambrose. So if you can remember the Missy Elliott music video where she's wearing the garbage bag. So that stylist was June Ambrose.
That
She
was I
put that
Can't Stand the Rain.
entire, yes, yes. So the stylist June Ambrose was the person behind that entire look, and actually behind a lot of the looks that you'll see within her music videos. Ellie Karamuth is the stylist for Steve Harvey. So even if you look at his transformation, going from the extra long suits and, you know, the 4-button suits with the wide leg pants to now, you see him now so fashion forward, has like his slip-on loafers. He'll do, you know, the scarves and the shades. That particular stylist was the person who is responsible for that transformation. You have Law Roach, who is the stylist for Zendaya, who can take her from, you know, menswear inspired looks to absolute glam for the Met Gala. So those are people that I look towards. Jay Bolin, another menswear stylist as well.
Nice.
He has the ability to mix prints and patterns in a way that I can't see it. But I'm forever, you know, inspired by these people. So I'm constantly looking at them. I'm looking at how their style has evolved, the type of clients that they work with. We actually have someone from Connecticut. His name is Matthew Reisman, who is a tailor to the stars, to Cardi B, to Mary J. Blige. He was just reconstructed a dress for the Critics' Choice Awards. So, you know, you have talent all over the place. You know, Matthew Reisman, again, coming from Connecticut and taking a dive into design. And now he's working with the stars. So those are people that I look up to in terms of like celebrity stylists, but then also someone who was local, who took their talent of tailoring, and now they are all over the world just using something as simple as tailoring and fashion, and they're changing lives with it. So those are some people that I look up to.
What do you feel is missing within the fashion industry, within just surrounding within New Haven? What do you feel that is missing? With all the great stuff that you've done, with all the great networking that you've done, with all the accomplishments that have happened within your career, what do you feel is just needed right now?
That's a really good question.
He's good like that.
I think, oh man, that's a really, really good question. I think one of the things that is needed, at least within the New Haven community, is a bit more unity in terms of our sectors. And what I mean by that is, you know, you can walk downtown or like any place within New Haven, and you have so many different small businesses that either may be similar to each other or within, a similar type of style or cohort. And, there are a lot of us designers and stylists and things that are out here that are kind of working independently. I think it would be really cool if there was like some type of showcase or something where we can collectively as a creative community kind of come together and really kind of become a fashion footprint or a creative footprint that New Haven is already becoming. But I think that, like you were talking about earlier, just, the one finger by itself is not as strong, but if you put all five together and you make a fist, then imagine the impact that you're going to have. So I think that I would like to see a little bit more unity, a little bit more like community building just between like the different brands, designers, stylists, or all of us come together and just create like a really cool event. You have your photographers, you have your videographers, your stylists, your designers, your models, you have, your marketing people, like you have everything here. And that reverts right back to our Black Excellence event. That's the start of it, where we wanted to really show each other we're all here. Everything that you need is right in your backyard. And you don't have to go to a major corporation to get what you need. You can go to this small business and you can go and you can support them. And now they're going to have longevity because you decided to support them and you're bringing your friends to them. So I that's what I would definitely love to see. And that's why, my friends and I, and partnering with Concorp, we're looking to make Black Excellence 2023 even bigger because we want to create that platform where all of these creatives can really come together and showcase their talent, gain some clientele, but also just gain a new family in terms of network as well.
Easy. I see your finger up. We only got a little bit of time. I want to give you some of it.
Well, and that's the thing, because this is such an important thing. You opened up this door before, and actually, Prestige, I've got a question for you.
So,
who's your favorite Spice Girl? Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
It's not about me. It's about Elle right now. And we only got about 2 minutes left.
So close.
This show.
I was so close.
But for the last 2 minutes that we do for Behind the Brand, we always want Harry, you're right. But anyway, we always...
Me too!
always want to give the guests just a little bit of time just for promotion, their Instagram, Twitter, whatever they want to give out for social media, ways to contact them, and any of the events they got in the foreseeable future. Elle, this time is yours. Go right ahead.
All right. So first, again, just thank you so much for the opportunity for getting my voice out here on this platform. You can find me at a physical location, 1399B State Street in New Haven. My shop is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between the hours of 11 and 7 or appointment only. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. That is at l.kstyles. And I'm also on Facebook as well, L.K Styling and Design Company. You can always reach out to me in my inbox. You can ask any questions, set up an appointment. Again, I'm here for styling services. I'm a designer and also tailoring services as well too. So I can easily take garments that you already have in your wardrobe, just a quick tighten up, and you have a completely different look as well too. As far as some events that are coming up, be on the lookout for Black Excellence New Haven. That'll be occurring on August 20th this year, or 21st. I'm sorry, we just set the date a couple of days ago. In March, I will have my campaign that will be showcasing menswear inspired looks, but with a little bit of a twist. So be on the lookout for that as well too. But of course, just continue to support me on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can always stop by my shop. That's at 1399B State Street in New Haven.
Elle, thank you so much for being a part of Behind the Brand. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely. Myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. This has been Behind the Brand on 103.5 FM, New Haven. Thank you.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Spending time all alone, sending my songs through the phone. Dreaming of a better home, we more focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft.